Hi friends, welcome to Prakhar Talks Sports. This video is going to be different. Starting with this video, I'm launching the new section of the Prakhar Talks Sports YouTube channel. It's called Expert Corner. The Expert Corner is not going to be my regular podcast. Instead, as the name suggests, Expert Corner is going to be the place where I host experts from the world of sports and I talk to them about the developments that are happening in sports. And in the first video of Expert Corner, I am going to talk to Mr. Harsh Mankad. If you don't know who Mr. Harsh Mankad is, well, he is former Indian tennis player. He has represented India in Grand Slams and at Davis Cup. And why I'm talking to Mr. Harsh Mankad is because India recently hosted Netherlands in Bangalore for a Davis Cup tie, and to everyone's surprise, India beat Netherlands. And it was the victory was considered as a big surprise, a shock win. Nobody expected India to beat Netherlands because of the difference in the rankings of the two teams. That win was the victory. India's victory over Netherlands was widely reported by almost every media outlet. In that victory, India has also got its next tennis star, Dakshin Suresh. He's being considered as the future of Indian tennis. So we will unpack all that, India's performance and that Davis Cup tie against Netherlands. We will also discuss Dakshin Suresh and a lot more. And we'll also preview India's next Davis Cup tie, which will be played in September against South Korea. So there's plenty to unpack from that India versus Netherlands Davis Cup tie that was played in Bangalore a few days ago. So without wasting much time, let's start talking to Mr. Harsh Mankad and get to know about uh, that tie between India and Netherlands. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for joining me once again. This time we are discussing India's Davis Cup win over Netherlands. It made quite a news here in India, and it is being considered as one of India's big moment in Indian tennis. So yeah, I thought it is only important to discuss this with someone who has played Davis Cup back in your days. So as a former tennis player who has represented India in Davis Cup, how proud and how thrilled are you with India's victory over Netherlands recently?
No, absolutely. It's a big win anytime a country from Asia in tennis defeats a European nation, and particularly as strong as Netherlands. They have a rich history in tennis, very strong tennis country. So it is a big moment, big achievement, and big congratulations to the Indian Davis Cup team for a
Mhm.
fantastic performance.
Okay, so I understand that when people watch tennis, they generally watch Grand Slams. Here in India, they mostly latch onto Grand Slams. Only when Grand Slams come around, they switch on their TV and they watch Grand Slams. Davis Cup is hardly followed. So, could you, for my audience, explain what is Davis Cup and why there's so much buzz around India's victory over Netherlands in this Davis Cup win?
Yeah, sure. So Davis Cup is unique in the sense that it's a team competition, and it's an opportunity to represent your country, play as part of the team, and you play against other nations in a format that includes two singles matches on the first day. So each match is 1 point, and then a doubles match, and followed by reverse singles. So two more
Mm-hmm.
singles matches. So in
Mm-hmm.
all, it's a 5 point format, four singles matches, and one doubles match, each worth 1 point. And so that's how it's played between two countries. Traditionally, Davis Cup, if we're playing the Netherlands, it's hosted by one country. So the next time we play the Netherlands, it'll be hosted by the Netherlands. So it moves, because it was played currently in India. So the
Mm-hmm.
next time the two countries play, it'll be played in the Netherlands. So it sort of rotates. That's the traditional format. But over the last few years, they've made some changes as well, the organizing body. And
Mm-hmm.
so now it's a bit more complex, but at the early stages, it's similar to what it was traditionally. And then I believe the top 16 teams, so forth, they
mm,
play in one location at the end of the year. So the format has changed over the years,
mm,
and there's been a lot of talk on that, changes and so forth.
mm. Okay, so how big is this win in Indian context?
No, it is a big win in the sense it gives the country a boost in tennis. It brings tennis to the forefront. People are talking about it. They take notice of it. There is a growth in Indian tennis. There are players now who are emerging, such as Dakshin Suresh, who was the
Mm,
star in this Davis Cup tie. He is 25 years old from Chennai, playing college tennis in the US, finishing his last year, and will be then playing full time on the
mm,
ATP Tour. So
mm,
he's emerging and clearly demonstrating a very high level of tennis. He's already beaten a few players in the top 150, and in this Davis Cup tie, beat a top 100 player.
mm,
Then you've got Sumit Nagal, who's already played at the top 100 level. He's been on the tour for several years. You've got some youngsters coming up in Indian
mm,
tennis who are doing well, both on the boys and girls side. So there's a lot going on. There's some emerging players, emerging talent, and I
mm.
think this is a great time to be looking at tennis and within tennis to be looking at developing the system around these players.
So you are particularly thrilled about India's victory over Netherlands, and you wrote a LinkedIn post about the same, and you shared it on your LinkedIn profile. And when you shared that post, you said it's noteworthy when an Asian country defeats a European nation such as Netherlands. So why you used the word noteworthy? Why is that?
Yeah, because it hasn't happened, so it's sort of a unique victory. And in tennis, it hasn't happened much in the past. I think the
Mm,
last time I can remember was India beating France in France. That was time when Ramesh Krishnan and Leander Paes were on the team. So
mm,
it is in that sense an epic historical victory. And again, I think we have to build from this. Indian tennis needs to build from this. I think it's other nations have taken note of it, and you cannot take India lightly anymore in
mm,
tennis. It's a well balanced team. There are two very solid singles players. India has always been very strong in doubles, so it's a well balanced team. And as the players continue to grow and develop and play at higher levels, the team can definitely be competitive against the best teams in the world.
mm. Okay, so when I was doing my research for studying this in India's tie against Netherlands, I was amazed to see the head-to-head comparison when in terms of rankings. And in my understanding, almost all of the Netherlands players were ranked above the Indian players except for one. I guess that was Yuki Bamri, and that too in doubles. So, does the ranking play a part when players match up in Davis Cup competition?
Well, the ranking is based on a calendar year on the ATP tour. So it is, it demonstrates the strength of the player. You cannot sort of disregard it. But in Dakshin Suresh's case, he isn't playing full time on the tour. Therefore, his ranking is lower.
Mm,
And everyone anticipates that as soon as he starts playing full time, a full schedule of tournaments, his ranking will accelerate. The quality of his tennis is definitely at the top 100 level. He's 6 feet 5. He possesses a very big serve, and I talked about that in my post. It's not just the pace of the serve; it has variety. He backs it up well. He's got a lot of attacking options. He's got an imposing game. And, at 6'5", he's a very difficult player to play against. And so he's playing well above his ranking. And Sumit has been higher in the rankings, has sort of fallen in the last year or so, but has a lot of experience. And
mm,
so, at any given time, he can play at that level. And I think Dakshin's rise is going to inspire Sumit as well. So this
mm,
is what can happen now is that with the emerging players, they're going to inspire each other as well. So it's kind of an exciting time. But
mm,
yeah, rankings give us a sense of the player's performance over a calendar year. But at the end of the day, like any sport, anything can happen, and it's on the day, who's performing. Plus, you're playing for your country. There's a big home crowd support. So there are other elements at play here. You've got, the support team, you've got the coach on the court. So that can equalize the playing field and potentially produce some upsets.
Mm,
So, yeah.
yeah. So we have to talk about the man of the moment, Dakshin Suresh. He's the rising star in Indian tennis. You have already mentioned about him in this conversation twice, but I understand just like you, he lives in US and play and like you, he plays a lot of college level tennis uh, in US. And in one of his most recent interviews, he said that college level tennis in US is highly competitive and that is helping him grow. So could you give me the insights of why he said that college level tennis is highly competitive and that is helping him to grow?
Yeah.
And
So,
some more insights about the player.
yeah, sure. The college tennis system in the US is a pathway. So from junior tennis, a lot of times the top juniors in the world then come to the US to play college tennis as part of the NCAA system. So it's very competitive. They're globally recruiting the top talent, and you get an opportunity to come to the US and compete against the top talent in the world. In addition, the infrastructure, the support structure, the support system that you get in college tennis is of a world class standard. So it's a great pathway from junior tennis to then college tennis, and then if you excel in college tennis, if you're amongst the top, or if you have a lot of passion to play, the opportunity to then transition to the professional tour is there. After you graduate or after a certain number of years. So it's definitely a viable pathway, and for Indian players for a long time. Even I came through juniors in India, then college tennis in the US, and then to the professional tour. So that's the journey that Dakshin is on. And as far as his tennis goes, I saw his match in the Switzerland tie. Again, that's a noteworthy win to beat Switzerland last year in Switzerland. For India to win in Europe, that was again a big moment. And in that tie, Dakshin beat Jerome Kim, who at the time was ranked about 125 in the world. So a top player. He had just made the third round, I believe, of the US Open. So this
Hmm.
was a player who was playing well, is on the way up. And Dakshin, I saw that match. He played very well against him as well. And then here against the fifth match against the Netherlands player. So, what's interesting about Dakshin is, yes, 6'5", big serve. I think everybody knows that. The serving quality is very high. It's a very accurate serve. 15 aces in this last match in two sets. Plus, there were a number of unreturnable serves. So he's picking up one or two free points a game. I was very impressed with the variety of his serve. So as soon as you start looking for the pace, he's got other serves that he can, put you off balance with. The kick serve out wide was very impressive, the way he was hitting that. And then the game to follow through, he can really hurt you off different shots. And
Hmm.
one of the things I think stands out about him is his mentality. He stays quite composed through the match, and in difficult situations he's composed, he's calm, and I feel he reads the game very well. He's got a very strong tennis IQ, and he can surprise you with some of the shots that he can hit. And so I remember in particular against Jerome Kim, he was in, I think it was in the second set, he was on the run, on the stretch with the backhand, and then he pulled that ball cross court for a
Okay.
passing shot, and you didn't see that shot coming,
Okay.
particularly from a player like him. So that's his element. He can surprise you with some shots that he plays. So very unsettling for the player who's playing him. Lot to deal with.
Hmm. So good all-round package that India has got a very promising talent. And in his interview, he told that he is determined to someday win a Grand Slam for India, and that would be even a bigger thing. And I really hope that he continues on his for trajectory. Okay.
I think
So
that's a great goal to have. And I think that in terms of his singles game, it'll be about, continuing to work hard, continuing to improve. There are certain areas that will need to get better to play at the highest level in singles. And then, of course, doubles also in this tie, he was put into the doubles and they won the crucial doubles point, Yuki and Dakshin,
Hmm.
7-6 in the third set. So he's a very good doubles player as well, and his skills will translate very well to doubles as well. So, he could be a top player in both singles and doubles.
Hmm. Okay, so we have to talk also about, as you explained, that it is a it is a team event, and in the Indian team, Sumit Nagal, his senior, he was playing through an injury. He could not win his two singles matches. Still, he persisted with his injury and went onto the court and played the two games. So something on Sumit Nagal.
Yeah, Sumit has been on the tour for several years. I've been watching him from a distance. I haven't had the opportunity to meet him or understand more about his team or tennis, but he's done very well. He's played at, like I said, he's already been a top 100 player. He's played in the Grand Slams. He's a fantastic player on clay. This is something very unusual from India, but Sumit has won a ATP level event on clay in Argentina, which is,
Okay.
South America is one of the strongest regions on clay. They produce some of the best clay coaters, and Sumit has won a tournament there. He's also won a tournament, ATP Challenger in Europe on clay. So he's amongst the best clay coaters in the world. And I think his journey has been to try to build the skill set and become a more attacking player and be more effective on the faster surfaces such as the hard courts. And that's the transition that I think he still needs to make in his tennis. He's great on clay, he's very good defensively, he runs really well, he's tenacious, he's tough to play against, he's not going to give you anything, but his ability to attack you, to create winners, the way Dakshin can with the big serve or with the big shots or coming into the net. I think Sumit has to develop that part of his game to then come back and be more effective against the top players on the hard courts and the faster surfaces. So, that's it.
Hmm. So I really hope that Sumit also carries his good form, and next time when India takes court in the Davis Cup tie, that's against South Korea, I guess. So any early predictions, or is it too early to say how that tie will pan out?
Yeah, so that's a surprise because South Korea beat Argentina at home. It's a big
Hmm.
upset.
Hmm.
But I think they had two of their former players. Actually, two top South Koreans have been out with injury for a long time, and they've both come back, and both have played, top 50 level tennis. So both the players are back, and I think they delivered a great performance. So it's not going to be easy for India. They're going to have to be ready to play a very strong South Korean team in South Korea. So I think it's a well balanced tie. Both teams are strong, and we'll see who's ready for the challenge.
Okay. So in your LinkedIn post, when you mentioned about India's Davis Cup victory, you also you mentioned about Dakshin, you mentioned about two other players, and you said that so you mentioned that these are the rising stars of Indian tennis. So are we seeing the next crop of Indian tennis players that we should be excited about?
Absolutely. A system should produce players, every generation. And now you're seeing this generation of players really coming up and demonstrating a very high level of tennis. It creates a great opportunity for the other players in India too to get exposure with them. I think setting up some training camps, creating opportunities for other players to come in, train with them, get that exposure, feel how it is to return Dakshin serve. You get for a young player to get an opportunity to practice with Sumit or Dakshin. It's a great experience, right? So I think you've really got to take advantage of the fact that you've got both in men's tennis, women's tennis, and then on the junior side too. I mentioned about Maya Rajeshwaran, who is a 15-year-old player who's now training at the Nadal Academy, and last year made the semis of a WTA event. So she's already playing at the highest level in junior tennis and starting to make inroads in the professional game. We've got a 14-year-old player, Jensi Kanabar from
Mm,
Gujarat, who has just won the under 14 Australian Open.
mm,
And she's the number one in Asia in the under 16. So she's standing out. And so it's a great opportunity to build a system around these players to support them, to make sure that they are well supported. They, are being inspired to keep improving, and then to build the other players as well, like I said, to create those exposure opportunities so that the other players can train with them and start picking up their game as well. This is how it all works. You
mm,
need a couple of top players, and then you've got to build the whole system around that.
mm. Okay, so uh, towards the end of this conversation, I got when I was reading about Indian tennis, it fascinated me that the stadium where this tie was held, SM Krishna Stadium in Bangalore, I guess it also hosted the Billie Jean Cup, and it hosted this Davis Cup tie as well. So could you give insights about this stadium during your playing this? Did you ever get the chance to play at this stadium? And what is this? What is the special about this venue that it is getting to host such marquee events?
Yeah, so definitely played in Bangalore a lot in Cubbon Park at the stadium where it is. As a junior, I grew up, we used to come to Bangalore and play tournaments.
Mm,
Then also at the time, professional tournaments. I've played many times in that arena. It's a nice
mm,
stadium, it's tennis courts, and it's
mm,
a full stadium around that. It's a unique setup, but very well maintained, and always a pleasure to go there and play. And the Karnataka Association is clearly doing a lot to upgrade the infrastructure to get top tournaments. They've had the Billie Jean King Cup, now the Davis Cup. They are hosting professional events, so
mm,
investing a lot into the infrastructure and the ecosystem and getting tournaments in for the Indian players to play. So this is a big plus, I think, in India, where now there are a lot more opportunities to play and compete at the international level right in India.
mm. Okay, so to wrap up this conversation, if I had to put you in spot and early predictions about the Davis Cup tie that will happen between South Korea and India. And that's going to be an away tie. From what I understand, you said that India is going to travel to South Korea for that tie. So early predictions.
Well, I think anytime you're playing away from home, it's always going to be challenging in foreign nations environment. They're going to have the home support. They get to choose the surface that they're going to play on. So a lot of advantages to South Korea. But I think this Indian team is a rising team that's playing at a very high level. And I think with Dakshin Suresh, the way he's improving and rising, I would give, the tick mark, so to say, to India. They are the strong team coming in with a lot of confidence and rising emerging players who are very, very tough. And of course, in doubles too, we have some top players in the top 50 of the world. So I think India, it would be my pick for this tie.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And I will keep catching up with you to get these insights, these nuggets of advice, nuggets on tennis. And I really hope that come September, India beats South Korea, and that will be even, as you said, that will be even bigger moment for the Indian tennis. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I say, it's all part of the process. The
Yeah.
result is a byproduct. So it's all about how well the teams prepare and train and get ready for it and then execute on the day. And of course,
Mm,
the best team will win. But all
yeah.
the best to both
Thank,
nations as they prepare for this big tie.
thank you. Yes, it's all about the process. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Pleasure. Thanks so
Bye.
much.
That was my conversation with Mr. Harsh Mankad on India's Davis Cup victory over Netherlands. How did you like the video? Please do let me know in the comment section below. Like the video. If you learned something, then please make sure that you share the video with your friends and family members. And Stay tuned. I will be bringing more videos in the expert corner section of my YouTube channel where I will be discussing the happenings from the world of sports with experts. Thank you.